I'm at Burton Waters, a 15-acre unique marina development just 2 miles from the city of Lincoln. My name's Jill Harvey, and today I'm going to be presenting session 1 of 5 on business diversification in the visitor economy sector. So in this first section, we're going to be looking at what we mean by business diversification. What are the benefits, what are the considerations, and how in fact do you prepare for successful change in your business? So what do we mean by diversification? Well, diversification is simply a business development strategy. It's the process of a business enlarging or varying its range of products or field of operation. Essentially, it's about growth. It can be a great way to grow a business. It can create stability in a business, and it can also help a business spread its risk. Now, there are lots of arguments for diversification. First, could be a change in market trends or the environment. There could be changes to the economy. It could be a change in supply capacity or even availability. We're experiencing all of this right now. We've had the pandemic, we've got an economy that's really struggling, and with the conflict in Ukraine, we've got real challenges in supply of raw materials and even availability of human resource. Could also be increased competition. That means that you need to find something new to help your business survive. But it isn't right for every business. So what do we need to consider if we're going to diversify a business? Because without sufficient consideration, diversification can cause critical damage to a business. For example, you could lose focus on what your business is currently doing. As you're looking at going into a new product or service, you're taking your time away from what your business is already doing at the moment. Diversification of resources from the existing business can leave you short with your day-to-day operations. You could end up demotivating your current staff. You're suddenly interested in another part of the business and less focused on them. There might be a lack of synergy with what your existing business does. And the worst thing that can happen is if you take your eye off the ball on either side, you could actually damage the reputation of your existing business. So how do you plan for successful diversification? Well, research is the answer. And the first port of call is just making sure that there really is a demand for the area that you're looking to move into. And that isn't just a gut reaction. That is going out and researching. What are the trends? What are people looking for? What will people pay for? Then you want to look at what is going on in the environment, and that is the whole political environment, the economy, social trends, what's happening with technology. What are the legal aspects that you need to consider? And it isn't just about local factors that you need to consider. We can see again, going back to the conflict that's happening in Ukraine, what's happening globally could affect your business. You then want to look at what's going on in your local industry with your competition. Where will you sit in this new market? Are you going to be a small fish in a big pond or a big fish in a small pond? And how will that affect your business? How will this new venture affect your current business? And then finally, you really need to understand the strengths and weaknesses of your current operation. You know, what are the strengths that you can carry into this new venture? And what are the weaknesses that perhaps you need to tidy up before you start thinking about diversifying? So research is really critical at a planning stage for diversification. The next section is about analysing the risk, and there's 2 elements of risk. Firstly, if it all goes wrong, what are the consequences of that? And then we need to look at what is the likelihood of it all going wrong, because then you'll really see what the risk level is of the venture that you're going into. And how do you know if it's right for you? Well, you need to be honest with yourself. What is your appetite for risk? Some of us are quite conservative. I count myself in that category. Most entrepreneurs, I would say, are quite happy to take an element of risk in their business. But just be honest with yourself before you go into this. And then you need to look at business as usual. You know, how are you going to manage your current business while this is continuing, while you're looking at your new resources for your new venture? You must make sure that business as usual with your current venture has still got the quality and the capacity to deliver and give you happy customers. And then finally, investment. It always comes down to investment, but it isn't just about the money. Investment in time. Your time is going to need to be spread across both ventures. So have you got the time to do this? How are you going to carve out the time to do this? Then we look at the expertise. Do you have the knowledge in the new area that you're diversifying into, or do you need to bring that in? Or maybe you've got the knowledge in your current business that you can move across. How are you going to backfill that so that your business as usual still succeeds? You're going to need to keep everybody on board. So your current team are going to need to be supporting what you're doing. And that means great communication. That means bringing them on board, and it's investing in your current team. And then, of course, it does come down to the money. And that means you're going to have a healthy cash flow before you go into this. You're going to have some reserves to enable you to invest, whether it's in people or whatever it might be for your new business, as well as keeping your business as usual flowing. So in this session, we've looked at what diversification is and when it isn't relevant or should be considered. We've looked at the potential consequences of not diversifying and essential planning before embarking on a diversified product or service. So that's the end of session 1 of 5 on business diversification in the visitor economy sector. I hope you found the session interesting and useful.